And when we say Adi Hayes longbow, for people listening in who might not have come across Adi Hayes and his craftsmanship, just what are we talking there with that piece of kit as well?
Well, the current bow is a quadruple laminate.
Helicopter incoming!
Looking for my arrows.
Yeah.
Welcome to a different kind of archery podcast where we're all about the real stories, practical tips and the shared passion for this timeless sport. Join us for insightful conversations with archers, experts and enthusiasts from all walks of life. From hitting the golds to the pursuit of personal growth through archery, we've got it all. So get ready to knock your arrow and take aim at a world of archery knowledge. This is Unstrung Archery. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Unstrung Archery with your usual lineup, me, Neil Hickman, AGB Ambassador, and my co-host, as usual, Nye O'Neill, who is currently on location with our special guest this month, Martin Leonard of Northern Archery. Today, Martin's going to talk to us all about Clout archery. So, without further ado, let's head on over to the field to Nye and Martin.
Hello, today we are joined by Mr. Martin Leonard of Northern Archery, who's currently the Gents Longbow National Clout Champion. And obviously enough, he's going to be talking to us today about Clout. And so without further ado, Martin, could I get you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about things like how long you've been shooting and what sort of archery you enjoy doing?
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, whichever. My name is Martin Leonard. I'm the owner of Northern Archery, which is a shop in Carnforth in North Lancashire. Clout. Well, oddly enough, I didn't start with Clout. I started, like everybody else, shooting recurve at the club level. However, I did sort of find myself drawn towards the English longbow, so very shortly after completing my beginner's course I actually moved on to the English longbow, initially shooting target competitions, but certainly in the last sort of 10 years or so primarily and maybe only Clout archery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So then, obviously, Northern Archery being the shop where, if you've seen me dressed in my bright orange shirt, that's the shop shirt that I'm wearing, actually, in the competitions. And so, I suppose the next thing we'd have to do is tell the good people listening about actually what Clout archery actually is, because obviously I know about it as distance archery, shooting longer distances, and Steph touched about this briefly when she talked to us about flight, but we didn't actually go much into sort of what the discipline actually entails.
Well, Clout archery in essence is just a form of target archery. However, the distances shot are significantly longer. So there are two main types, although there are different measurements in different countries in the world, but there are two main types within Britain: the metric and the traditional imperial versions. It's a form of distance archery, if you like, and I guess it's sort of like the little brother to flight and the big brother to target. So it's a bit of both. The major difference being, one, the distance is shot, and two, the fact that we shoot at a flag in the ground as opposed to a target up in front of you. Now that flag in the ground is measured out for me as a longbow archer at 180 yards for the imperial version of Clout, and 165 metres for the metric. Well, basically quite a long way away.
And it's one of those where you'll have probably seen this more than me, but for me coming in as a target archer, going into Clout, it's fun, but it's a really welcoming community, but it's also a skill set as well to actually, because 180 yards is a lot longer than you think. But also, for juniors, I'm presuming there's also shorter distances for younger archers wanting to have a go as well?
Yeah, oh no, there are distances for ladies and distances for the juniors. So basically you work up through the ranks, as it were, from a junior, whether it be male or female. I think the closest distance at the moment is 100 yards. Ladies shoot at 140 yards, and as I say, we gentlemen, we shoot at 180. But yes, there are age-appropriate distances, but we all shoot at the same sort of target, which, as I mentioned, is a flag in the ground. The scoring as such is measured by a rope. So what happens is we shoot our arrows as best we can up the fields, and we use a large piece of rope attached to a pole, which also goes around the flag, and we literally walk in a big circle, and there are what we call colour sergeants for each colour, so gold, red, blue, black, white. And if you are, for instance, the colour sergeant for blue, you would pull all of the arrows from the blue section. Once we've gone all the way around 360 degrees, those arrows will be then put together if there are more than one or two arrows from any particular archer, and placed on the ground, and then two scorers would then take everybody's scores from that. So it's something that's easier to see rather than describe, I have to say.
Oh, no, definitely. And it's one of those where even if it sounds confusing listening in, if you were to go to a Clout shoot, it's one where it's actually really intuitive. I'd say it's really relatively intuitive as well for trying it out for doing it in a competition as well.
Yeah, it is, and we from shoot to shoot we take our turns. So one time we might be a scorer, the next time we might be a colour sergeant, and if we're really lucky, we actually get to do nothing and just watch while other people do all the work.
And that it takes a lot of the pressure off as well when you're there. But
yeah, well, some people can't bend down so easy, so those that can will pull arrows, and those that can't will be given the day off, as it were, if we can. But yes, you mentioned the community. The Clout community, or the Clout shooting community, is like no other, really. It's probably the friendliest type of archery you will ever come across. So where sometimes on target archery, in both outdoor and indoor, where there will be little communication or chatting on the line, this isn't the case in Clout, where we actually do talk quite a lot to each other. At the end of the day, because the target's 180 yards away, it's a long walk not to say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
And you've got to come all the way back after you've shot your 6 arrows, because we shoot 6 arrows and end like you would do in an outdoor competition.
I remember what you're saying about the community side. I remember Kendall Clout. I think it was either last year or the year before when you got me to sign up for it. I remember getting there a bit before, and a couple of guys from Goldcrest where I got talking as soon as I got out of the car. Hey, how are you doing? And said, oh yeah, good, looking forward to today, first Clout shoot. Stick with us, mate, you'll be okay. So there's that really welcoming, even though I'm a complete stranger, there's that really welcoming community feel is what I found, and you're made to feel part of made to feel part of the event right away.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think so. I mean, I know we welcome new archers to it. It is a bit of a strange one, because when we say new archers, it's probably the only discipline of archery where you must have had some kind of tuition in shooting it before you're allowed to enter a competition. Now, by that, we just mean you just need to be shown how to do with it. And in fairness, it's really so you can judge just how powerful and how far your bows can go. Because, as we mentioned, Steph, who does a lot of flight archery, her flight distance at 500, 600, 700 metres or what have you, is way longer than the Clout distance. So with certain bows you could easily outshoot the area, so you need to learn how to control. So it's all about control.
It's not just as much as it's fun. Whereas flight archery, seeing how far you can send your arrow, this is about controlling that power as well.
Yeah, I mean, my balls and myself are quite easily overshoot the target. That's not really a difficult thing to do. The most difficult thing to do is to control it and bring it in at 180 yards.
So with bringing it in on the target, I'm presuming that there'll be whereas you might be able to get there with sort of target equipment, but I'm imagining that you'd need a lot more. There'll be a lot to do it to sort of really progress. You might have to start making modifications to your setups as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, we all of us tend to, all those of us who regularly shoot Clout, we would have very, very specific equipment. So our bows are very specific, and most often our arrows are very, very specific. So we have special Clout arrows, so they are low profile feathers. Depending on the wind conditions, sometimes we can shoot heavy arrows, sometimes we shoot light arrows, because that can alter how far the arrow flies. Depending on whether the wind's in front of you, behind you, coming from the left or coming from the right, we may well have 4 or 5 different sets of arrows that we could choose from. That said, you only need one set in reality, so you don't need 5 sets of arrows to do Clout. But yes, quite often our equipment is very, very specific. So my longbows, I only ever shoot them to do Clout. So I have them made for me. Currently I'm shooting an 80 Hayes 62-pound longbow, so that's 62-pound draw weight. That's just the weight that I prefer to make the distance. Other archers make the distance. In fact, I was talking to a guy there just the other night who makes the distance with a 42-pound longbow. I couldn't do that, but he can. So the individual abilities count for a lot as well.
And when we say an 80 Hayes longbow, for people listening in who might not have come across 80 Hayes and his craftsmanship, just what are we talking there with that piece of kit as well?
It's currently a 4 laminate longbow, so it has 3 main laminations and a backing of Tonkin bamboo. It's built for speed, basically, so it's specifically for speed and distance. It does make other bows, for different things.
These are quite high. They're really high performance bows.
Yes.
And so
so a 4 laminate bow will do a little bit more than a 2 laminate bow. Generally speaking.
And would this be like having, say, a real high performance sports car with an 80 Hayes? Or?
Yeah, well, quite often I refer to them as sort of like the Ferraris of the longbow. There are other makers out there, so I also have bows by Gary Evans, Michael Wildrick, who's a flight shooter.
And he knows a lot about distance archery as well, mate.
Yeah. So, I mean, I tend to carry sort of 3 or 4 bows with me as well. depending on the conditions, because like everybody else, if the wind's behind me, there's no point me shooting a very heavy bow if I don't need to, because the wind's going to help me get the distance.
Yeah, and saving the energy as well.
Yes, yeah. So, but the best way to describe it really is if you imagine a Robin Hood film where everybody's aiming at the sky, then that's the longbow aspect of it. The other bow styles, less so. So our trajectory is much higher than recurve, bare bow, and compound.
And I know that for recurve and compound, we can have modified sights that drop way below the sight bar, so that you can, so you'd in essence be aiming to bring up to the angle that you'd need. You're aiming quite a lot higher as well.
Yeah, you are. The sights that are used in Clout archery. I mean, myself, I don't use any sighting system at all. I'm purely what is termed as an instinctive shooter. So I use no gauge for the height, etc. But the other bow styles, yes, they do. They use prism sights on compound bows and dropper sights on recurve bows. And then, of course, your bare bows, they don't have a sight, but they can use bits of the bow, and as a marker for the angles that they need to shoot.
And obviously, here we're talking about real high-level performance equipment, but to get into Clout, you don't need to go and break the bank to get into Clout. If you're thinking, say, someone at home wanting to give it a try, they don't have to go and break the bank, do they, to be able to take part?
No, I mean, really, all you need is to have a big field to do it.
Yeah.
Because you are going to shoot quite long distances, and most archery fields are not big enough to take a Clout shooter. Some are, but most of them they can't actually handle the distances. But no, you don't need any specific equipment as such. So when I started off, I didn't have a fancy longbow or anything. I just had my longbow, my arrows, and I did okay on the first time out, which made me want to come back and do it again.
And obviously, talking about doing well on your archery, obviously in Target we have things like your classification schemes, 252s, all the way through to the Rose Awards that you can, and your Feet of Stars that you can shoot for.
Yeah.
In Clout, what have we got? Anything comparable in Clout that we can use to measure our progress?
Well, we have our version of your Rose Awards. Ours are called tassels, or tassel awards, and just like the Rose Awards, they start at white, progress on to black, blue, red, gold, and obviously purple. We don't have such a thing as a 252 award, but we do have 6 gold end awards and 3 gold end awards, and that's both for metric and imperial distances. The main difference between metric and imperial is actually the size of the target area. So the metric target area is much bigger. So a lot of people prefer to start on the metric because it's probably a little easier, or more likely, shall we say, that they're going to score, whereas the imperial, it can be quite hard.
Yeah. I think my first imperial shoot, I think I had about 4 scoring arrows out of 72 on my first attempt. So it can be tricky, but it's even so. I wasn't having high scoring ends, but the nature of Clout and the people that you're with made me want to come back again. So it's one way it's definitely, so regardless of performance aside, you're always in a really fun, welcoming place as well. What I've found as well.
I mean, in fairness, it's quite. I'm going to use the phrase big sport in the north of England. Probably more prevalent in the north of England than it is in the south. But there are plenty of competitions. So Kendal, for instance, they have 2 competitions a year. In Penrith, there is both the Penrith Club competition there and the county shoot there. This year, they had bizarrely, the Cheshire Tri-Clout competition was held in Penrith as well. So, in effect, we had 7 days of clout shooting just in Cumbria. We do tend to travel around a lot for it, so I can often be in York, or down in Cheshire, or down in Lancashire shooting, and oddly enough usually with the same people, so we quite often describe ourselves as a community. We live in all parts of the country, so some of the people that do travel all the way up from Southampton, for instance. There are a couple that come up from Southampton to the shoots, but we're like this group of people who live in various parts of the country but get together and spend the weekend together shooting, wherever that will be. There are a couple of clubs that are Clout specific. So the main one there will be the TCC, or the Clout Collective, and they're over in Derbyshire. So they hold regular competitions. Most of the clubs involved in Clout will hold a competition.
Yeah, and I think that covers up quite a lot of the actual stuff about Clout. So I suppose the next question that I'd want to ask you, Martin, is obviously last year was a good year, good position. So a bit more about you now, if you're as much as you want to give us. So obviously last year was a good year with the national championships, and and you ranked highly in England as well. In English,
yeah, actually, that's a good point. There is a ranking system, just like there is for Target. So we are ranked both for our metric achievements and our imperial achievements, and also our combined. You have to shoot for combined, you have to shoot 2 of 1, so for argument's sake, 2 imperial clouts and 1 metric, and they take the higher scores that you shoot across the season, and put those together, and we are then ranked. So I was fortunate to be ranked number 2 in the country in Imperial, and in fairness, Imperial's the type of archery, or Clout archery, I prefer out of the 2. Not so good on metric for some reason. Give me a bigger target and I miss it more. But
then I suppose goes back to our old thing of aim small, miss small as well.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not something that we even really think about until we get to the end of the season, and then all of a sudden it dawns on us we might get ranked. Yeah.
But I suppose it's one for people who might start out and they think, right, you can get a ranking. If you attend enough shoots, you'll get a ranking. Even if you go and you think, right, so say for me, for argument's sake, I might go on my performance, relatively speaking, wouldn't be as high as some of your really good recurve Clout archers, but I could still get things like national rankings would still be achievable for someone who starts out.
I mean, it's another way of measuring yourself, isn't it? Because if you come in the 20th, rank 20, this year, then next year you want to be 19th or higher, don't you? So it's just another way, but it also measures us across the season.
Yeah,
because
like the Premier League would be for the football. So over the course of the season, you'd see.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing with Clout is it depending on what the weather is, it can make a massive difference to your scores.
Yeah.
So, the other week I was out and I shot half, or I scored half, in fact, just less than half of what I would normally score. And that was purely down to the weather.
Yeah, in harsh conditions as well.
In fairness, I'm blaming the weather. It could have been me, but it's... but everybody else was the same.
We'll blame the weather.
Yeah. Well, on the day, everybody else was the same.
Yeah, and so I looked across the scores, and it did seem to be the sort of everyone's scores. Everyone was coming in lower by about a similar sort of amount as well.
It was a tough day.
Yeah.
But it's a tough day for everybody. But of course, that doesn't help you in your rankings. But but at the end of the day, your rankings, I guess, even out the kind of year you've had. So they're good for that.
And I suppose next thing will be it's sort of obvious. So what are things that we're looking to achieve going forwards with our Clout shooting?
Well, I'd like to defend the national title, obviously. So that will be, I guess, top of my agenda. I would like to shoot a 6 gold end on the metric and a 3 gold end on the Imperial. I have a purple tassel metric. I'd like to get a purple tassel Imperial. So these are the main things. So there's still the big stuff out there still to be aimed for. And in fairness, that's what I try for every time, but it just hasn't happened so far.
So when we see Martin out on the Clout line, let's go and give him as much support as we can to help him get to there. And so we're coming to that part of the podcast where we do our review of a tournament that we've been to recent. If we want, could be at any point. So Martin has a bit more flexibility here because obviously first time on the show, so it could be any shoot that you've been to, say in the last few months. But I suppose for me, I've got to go for my one, which has been the Morecambe Bay Archers Friendly American last weekend, where fortunately conditions held well and bit of wind and a couple of spits of rain, but overall it's a nice warm day. And we also had a bit of smoke coming across from a fire being burnt on the field across the train. Oh, so you know where the West Coast Main Line goes across our ground? Yeah. Some farmer across the way had decided to what? A farmer had put a little fire. A person owned a house across the way, put a fire on, so it came across a bit. So we had a bit of a longer dinner break because of it.
Battlefield conditions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But that reminds me of the time when we were shooting at Penrith and there was a truck on fire on the A66. It was far enough away to not cause us any physical harm. However, the black acrid smoke that came off it was like volcanic ash out of Vesuvius. And then when the gas bottles exploded, that was interesting. But it was, I don't want you to think it was next door to us, because it wasn't. It was visible, but it was far enough away for us not to be a danger.
We also had sheep's wool on fire. But fortunately, it got the worst of it just happened just before the dinner break, so we're just finishing the 50-yard distance. So sort of me and Tony went round and had a chat, and we came back, and it was by that point it died down, so we could carry on without incident. Oh, and good news from that one, young Isaac did well.
Okay,
good. A young lad that Martin and I work with, and he's come on and had a really good he had a really good time there as well. So
Isaac's shooting his first Clout this weekend coming.
That's the Kendall Clout, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what we tend to do here is, yes, we do beginners courses, we get people introduced into archery, we'll deal with people who just want to have a go. But if we get regular people who come here, what we do try to do is actually at some point get them out to try Clout. And I've yet to come across anybody who sort of says, I don't enjoy that. They really do enjoy it, because there's nothing more satisfying than shooting a bow as far as you think you can.
And it's made a difference, even for me. I've not tried much in the way of Clout before working for yourself. But I found, I know I've still got a long way to go in my work on me drawing.
We're all a work in progress.
Yeah, but the fact is, I'm noticing the I've made progress from where I was on getting back to my reference point. And I think Clout's helped me realise, I've got much more motion in the shoulder than I had previously realised as well.
Well, the Clout really encourages a full draw.
Yeah.
So I like to use it as a means to let people have a go at a form of distance shooting, but equally to try and coax them into having a full draw, because people tend to not actually draw to where they think they are doing, or in other words, they're not at full draw. Whereas with Clout, they kind of think that they need to pull it harder. You don't. It's exactly the same draw process. All it is the trajectory that you're sending the arrow off at. But it does encourage people and teach people how to achieve a full draw. So it has that benefit.
And I suppose that wraps up my shoot review. So now I'll hand over Neil for yourself.
Thank you, Nye. I think I've not really done much in the way of Clout shooting myself. Obviously, we have a field at Weird and Oral where we're actually able to shoot, but we've not actually run any competitions bar attempting one, which unfortunately didn't have enough people to let it go ahead. So I'm actually going to look back to the Lancashire Championship, Clout Championships, which was held at Blundell Sands, which is an absolutely fantastic field for Clout. If you are interested in going to a Clout competition and you're in the area, Blundell Sands is amazing. Nice big field. However, if you are going to overshoot at Blundell, you've got a long walk ahead of you. It is a massive field, and it's absolutely perfect for Clout. And the guys over there that run the club are absolutely fantastic, really friendly. And I think it goes back to what Martin said earlier, that Clout, and obviously what Steph said in the previous episode about Clout and field archery, just having a completely different kind of community surrounding it. The Clout guys are very welcoming. So yeah, that one's for me, it was an absolutely fantastic day. I mean, the last time I did it as a judge, I got absolutely torrentially rained on for about 30 minutes. I remember it quite vividly. My hearing aids decided that they were turning themselves off because they weren't coping with the rain. So I did have a little issue and had to take a little break myself to go and dry them off and get them working again. But yeah, nice competition, and I highly recommend it. Back to you, Nye.
Thank you for that, Neil. So now we'll hand over to Martin for any of his shoots that have been from the last year or so.
Yeah, what Nye's after here is he's trying to embarrass me because I had such a lousy score the last time.
You don't have to mention that one.
No.
Go for one you did well at, that you enjoyed.
Well, doing well and enjoying it are two different things.
Yeah,
so
one you've enjoyed. Yeah.
For instance, I mean, the other weekend up at the Northumberland shoot up in Ashington, the conditions were difficult. Everybody struggled, myself included. However, I thoroughly enjoyed the day.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, archery is about having fun, and if we didn't have fun, we wouldn't do it. But as I say, the Clout community actually helping that, because there's a lot of discussion and chat and sitting down between ends and what have you. We do have a lunch break, by the way, so we shoot 2 Clouts, 36 arrows in the morning, 36 arrows in the afternoon, along with sighters. But so the conditions at Ashington were difficult. The scores reflected that. But as to one shoot to say that I enjoyed the most, probably the most unexpected was last year's Clout, National Clout, where I put in a score which I thought was okay, and you could have knocked me over with a feather to find out that I'd actually got the highest score on the day, because we don't compare scores with each other until the end. So we leave it as a surprise to see how rubbish we've done on the day, basically.
The photo of you when you're there with Yvonne Stead and you've been presented your award, and you can tell you're grinning from ear to ear.
Oh yeah,
with it.
Well, I mean, that's one of the major achievements, to sort of shoot and get the national championship. I mean, that's one of the things ticked off the list. I just never thought I would be able to do it, but I have done. So, so now this year, as we said before, is to try and defend.
And that leads me on. Actually, leads back to the next. Leads on to the next section, which is a shoot that's coming up that I'm looking forward to, or has some importance for yourself.
Well, the nationals are next month, but this weekend, for instance, is the Kendal Clout.
Oh,
so that's a two-day event, Saturday and Sunday this weekend. It's an imperial, so it is what I prefer to do. The best thing about this is it is literally 2 minutes from my front door to the shooting ground, so it is by far my closest shoot. In fact, I often joke that if I had a really good day, I could probably shoot an arrow from my garden onto the field. Not that I would, obviously. It's a bit further than that, but
proximity-wise, it's perfect. Perfect for yourself.
No, it's a lot of the Clout people actually spend the weekend at Clouts because they tend to be 2-day events, although not always. And a lot of the guys camp over. So whilst they're at this time of year, in the cold, damp tents, you know, I quite often rub it in that I'm going home to sit down for a proper dinner or a bath and what have you, because I can.
Oh, very nice.
But yeah, no, we're looking forward to that shoot. We'd like to see a lot more people at the shoots, to be honest, because I think there's a reluctance, like with any form of archery, where people think they've got to be really good to do it. You don't. You just need to kind of want to do it and have a go. There is a regular group of people, shall we say, that two of the north, or two of the Clout shoots. And yes, it's nice to see regular faces, and we're all very friendly with each other, or would like to think so. However, it's always great to welcome new people, and we do try to make them welcome. So we will help them and guide them, you know, as best we can, really, if they've never done it before. So basically, even if you never knew anybody, and had never done Clout competitively before, all I can say is you would get a warm welcome, and you would be helped by all.
And I was very much made to feel, when I started, I was very much made to feel like a friend they hadn't met yet.
Yeah.
And I suppose that would be how I suppose that's what all I could add to what Martin said.
I mean, I've done all sorts of archery, so I've done target. I started off life in target archery, like most people. I do a fair bit of field, but Clout is what I choose to do.
Yeah.
So this is my number one form of archery, and there are lots of people out there. That's the archery that they do. They don't do any other type of archery, and all I can say is it's very much like Robin Hood movies where they were all shooting high into the air. So if you imagine a volley of arrows, so there is that element of romance to it. But you know, I've shot at a reasonable level in both target and field, but Clout is where my heart is, as it were.
Oh, hey, very nice, Martin. And now I can't really follow up that pitch there, but if ever you've needed a reason to come and try Clout, that right there is the one. And so I suppose for myself, we're going to bring in, at the time this is going out, I'm currently down, if you're listening to this on the day of release, I'm in the second day of the National County Team Championships down at Ludlishall. So 20 odd years of shooting, and yeah, we finally got myself a place on the team. Probably won't get on next year, but I'm going to end down there enjoying it while we're here. So prepare for me to. So at the time of recording, I've been looking forward to this, and also, yeah, bring it back. Yeah, and then I'll be bringing back a full review for our next episode, and also some good news. I can't remember if I told you this, Martin, but I'm off to the Netherlands for Kings of Archery in November as well.
Right. Okay. I've heard of the competition.
Yeah. But, going to get the passports first. The passports some use. Not travelled overseas since 2018.
We'll have to start a Kings of Clout.
Yeah. You know. Oh, that'd be nerves of steel. We have a bit of have it on the hard standing.
Internationally, I mean, the Australians do Clout. And there is a Clout competition in Cyprus.
Oh,
you know, Cyprus won appeals.
Shop trip to Cyprus then?
Yeah, could be. You never know. Yeah. Or Australia.
Yeah. Oh no, too many spiders for my liking over there.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that.
And so I believe now we just hand over, Neil, to yourself to give us your tournament that you're looking forward to.
Oh, you know me now. I look forward to every single tournament that is on the cards. There are some absolutely great ones out there, but I'm going to take this opportunity just to remind everybody that Wigan and Oral Archers are hosting our Portsmouth again in March, which I'm very much looking forward to that one. A couple more on the upcoming ones. If you're looking for something a little different, the Phoenix Bowman Open Floodlit Pie and Peas National on the 12th of October, which always proves to be a good one, and the Sherwood Archers 36 Pie and Beans Western on the 20th. You can't say much more than an outdoor shoot in indoor season with a bit of pie and peas and pie and beans. Absolutely fantastic. So highly recommend those if you're in the area or looking to do something a little different rather than just doing indoor shooting.
And the final bit of the podcast that we have is giving an unsung hero giving a shout out to someone in archery who's maybe doesn't get the appreciation you think they deserve, and you want to give them just a public thank you to anyone. So I think I've already given you one on the. I've given Martin one obviously on the last episode when we started this. So, and also because I'm actually recording this in the shop, I want his head to be able to get out of the door. So I'll give Martin. I won't name Martin this time. So I think for me, I'm going to have to give a shout out to our NBA's club chairman Ian Robinson, who's a good friend of ours, who's doing a really good job looking after us and make sure we've all got the support we need to do our jobs properly. So thank you, Ian. And so Neil, over to yourself.
Oh, there's so many people to choose from. I can't quite think at the minute. So I think like yourself, Stuart, some of the unsung heroes of archery are actually those that sit on the committee and make our clubs run really well, the best they can. So I'm going to have to give a shout out to Stuart Ward, our chairman, who is he mostly plays devil's advocate for the club. When I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit, he kind of like reins it back in, like, no, you don't need to buy that, Neil. But he is my partner in crime when it comes to the club. He's absolutely fantastic and keeps me completely level-headed and able to run the club and support all our archers. Speaking of supporting archers, I also have to give a shout-out to Phil and Lorraine Morris from P&S, who you all may know better as on the Lancashire judging team. Lorraine is my mentor for my judging career. I've not been as many competitions as I would have liked to, given recent events with family bereavements and whatnot. So, big thank you to Lorraine there. Phil, again, always there for support if I need it while I'm on the field judging. But more so than anything else, Phil has been an absolute lifesaver when it comes to running competitions. He's always there for advice when it comes to IANCIO or formats, especially for head-to-heads. Again, Lorraine, the same. So them three people for this month for me. Thank you.
Now, to give the final... So, I suppose two things, Martin. We've already had a good write-up on why you should do Clout, so I'll give you the final word of the episode with your person you'd like to give a shout-out to.
Well, I'm not going to give it out to any one individual. I'm going to give it out to the tournament organisers and the people who set out the courses, whether it be target, field or Clout. None of what we do would happen without the people who actually volunteer and help put these shoots together. Because, my weekends would be very quiet if I didn't have a shoot to go to. So the tournament organisers, etc., big shout out to them.
Yeah, obviously, very, very much appreciated with us as well.
And that pretty much wraps up this episode. I want to thank everybody for listening. A big thank you to Martin Leonard for coming on the show. As always, going out on the field and getting all the interviews, which is absolutely fantastic. So Clout, what can I say? It's an absolutely fantastic discipline in archery. If you're fancying something a little different from target archery. Obviously, it's not the only one out there. We have still got our flight and field disciplines as well. But one that it always gets overlooked a little bit is Clout. There is a fantastic community surrounding Clout, and I highly recommend, even if you just go the once. If you go the once and have a go at it, at least you can say you've done it. You're probably going to get addicted to it. It is an absolutely fantastic discipline. Lots of fun. I remember the first time that I did Clout. One of my first arrows got caught in the wind and ended up hitting a lamppost and made an almighty bang. The lamppost was okay. There was no lamppost hurt in the making of this shoot, but there was a little bit of a dint in my arrow. I obviously made adjustments to make sure it never happened again, but it was a very thrilling discipline to try out. Just having the feel of your bow and what it's capable of. I would imagine a little bit more so in flight archery, because obviously you are really just letting it go there. But Clout, having that precision and the need to have that precision is something that Clout brings that no other discipline of archery does. So it's a big thank you from me.
Thank you, and boys and girls, everyone, archers, thank you for listening.
And until next time, keep those arrows shooting straight, and we'll see you in the next one. Before we sign off, we want to hear from you guys, our amazing listeners. If you have any questions, stories, or insights you'd like to share, we'd love to feature your voice on our next episode. Just hit that recording button on your phone or computer and send your voice clip to us. You could be part of the conversation. Plus, we are building a vibrant archery community on our Discord server. It's the perfect place to connect with fellow archers, share your experiences, and stay updated on all things unstrung archery. You'll find the links to both our voice submission platform and our Discord server on our Linktree or in the episode description below. Your voice matters, and we can't wait to have you join the discussion. Until next time, keep those questions coming and stay safe in your archery journey.